Welcome back to Watching Film and Varnadore Films. I'm Seth Varnadore. I'm a former college and high school football coach. Now I break down film here on YouTube with a particular emphasis on the Florida Gators. Florida got a big win, I think not just for the season, but for Billy Napier's tenure as head coach on the road at South Carolina. Offense played really well. Defense had some issues. We'll take a look at a little bit on both sides of the ball, and we got a lot to look at. So let's get to it. I want to start with the kickoff here. I think we saw the opening kickoff. We're not going to watch many of the kickoffs, but this opening one. Try to sky kick, short return. The reason I put this one is watch who runs in here late. Who runs in here? Who's excited? With a smile on his face. I'm pretty sure that's the head man there running in at the end. With a big smile on his face. I think it's hard to tell, but that's just my guess is that's head man. I thought there was a lot of energy from Florida. You even saw in the pregame where you had Mertz waving towels and things like that. A lot of energy from Florida early, and they had a really good plan. So we'll start here, 1st and 10, first real play of the game here. Bunch set to the right. Split zone with the reverse action. That reverse action in the split zone, they seem to be really flying downhill for the split and the jet motion, right? A lot of with motion, they seem to be flying downhill. You see the play, it gets here. Then pretty good job there, and watch the front side here. That's a really good combo. I think that's your center and right guard. Just wash that thing down. Really good job there. And you'll see they end up kind of caking that dude. And then Montreal jumps over the pile for a nice big run there on the first play of the game. So you're in 1st and 10 again. Another bunch set with 12 personnel. So, right, you'll notice now this will be something that I think people will probably start keying on. But last couple of weeks you've seen, if it's him there, play action pass, maybe protector. If they switch, maybe run and split zone, right? You see the first play. He's the point man. He's off the ball. I wonder if that's a tell. We'll have to watch that going forward, but just one of your classic combinations here for Napier. One he likes a ton. He runs it a ton of different ways. Basically the same idea as your boot here. But you have the shallow crosser. Then you have the deeper crosser. He's the go portion of this. So you have basically flood concept. Mertz does a good job dropping it down, hitting the receiver on the run too, right? Not holding him up with the throw. And he probably threw this, right? It's hard to see, but threw it with good timing, hits him on the run. He's able to get it. So you don't catch the snap here, but I thought, everyone talking about tempo. The last play ends it with 10 seconds, I think 14-10. You're snapping the ball here pretty quick. So a little bit of tempo on this early drive. You've got the screen going down here. Looks like you've got probably double hitches maybe up top. Empty, he can take his pick. It looks like you obviously got numbers. Now the broadcast didn't show us, but you got numbers down here. Throw it to your back out there. Nice catch. Get upfield and just keep picking up chunk yardage. That's why, Trey Wilson is so important. He's obviously not involved in that play, but other plays where you just dump it to him and then he picks up 6 or 7. Picking up that much yardage on first down really changes what you can do. So there's another split zone. I put this one in here. I try not to put, I try to put plays that are kind of interesting in terms of scheme. I don't want to spend 2 hours on every game just to discuss all the intricacies of zone blocking and all, every little thing. But The thing I thought was interesting was, right, when he's going inside and him triggering really hard for the split zone flow, right? He's triggering really hard for that split zone, but that may make it harder for play action stuff, which you see later. And Florida started running some, because this is split flow, but it's also motion, right? You can treat this like jet motion, same kind of thing. Motion here, the ball snapping on there. Once they started triggering downhill, Florida actually started running jet motion to the same, or running to the same side as the jet motion. We'll see that later. So if this guy's going to leave, now you start running zone into there. You have some good plays here. I think this is wanting to be kind of wind back. And they get to this better later in the game in terms of the perimeter. Like, I think you want here, and then he's there, and you're going there, kind of a bounce zone wind back play. They tried a couple times last week. They got to it a different way this week. Not successful there. And then I think you have the sneak, but we'll talk about the sneak later, because the way they ran that first sneak really set up the big fourth down conversion later in the game. So I'm going to show you those at the same time. So that'll be at the end here. All right, so after the sneak, you're 1st and 10. Got a backup quarterback in here. And again, I don't want to put on every single play, but this one I thought was schematically interesting. In terms of up front, we've seen Florida be gap scheme where they're down, they're pulling linemen, and we'll see it later in the game as well, where you're running like a counter scheme. They've run some more like pin pull stuff. They've run some toss sweep. I thought this was an interesting, where basically you're going to be running almost a counter look with your 2 tight ends. And up front, we're just zoning it. So it doesn't really change anything up front, but it gets you 2 hats on the backside and creates extra gaps. South Carolina does a good job. I mean, they were getting downhill because they felt like they would hold up in the passing game, I guess, and then played a lot of man. He jumps inside, so you kind of log that. Probably would like that to come out there, which it does. They play it pretty well, but I just like that it's another way to get to like a counter type scheme here. But the line's running zone. You're pulling these guys. This is one that, like, I was talking to somebody before the pod, and I'm like, this is a future Lagway, DJ Lagway special, where he's this guy, the back is this guy, and now you're pulling, you got these 2 guys here. So this is something that could be flexible in the future, but just an interesting concept nonetheless. So after you get 2nd and 8 here, jet motion. Not really jet, it's kind of regular motion. But again, look how kind of you're getting a lot of play to the motion in terms of rotation. Now, South Carolina does the same thing to the Florida defense here later. And then this is how you get open, right? You get the rotation, and then he's the vertical guy. So he's gone. That means the corner's running with him. He's going to block for a second. Block, bang, to the out, and that's how you get so open, right? Engage, slip them. There you go. Easy 1st down pickup right there. 1st and goal. Shift. You see Carolina shift their personnel as well. Now bring the motion. There it is, right? This guy's just triggering downhill. You got split flow zone. Get some pretty good movement up front. Here comes the split flow. I'm pretty sure this is the kind of the look you get that off of later for the touchdown. It's pretty close, I believe. But there's the back door. This thing gets pushed down. And you're just one-on-one on the back door. Makes a play, but still you're picking up positive yards. Then 1st down. Pretty good job blocking this up. And you're going to end up getting one-on-one with him. Just straight. Looks like kind of maybe an inside zone, depending on the track here. Looks like a downhill track, inside zone. and good job finishing the run there by the running back for a touchdown. So get off to a very fast start for Florida. Come right back, and this is one that is executed really well here. It looks like they're playing kind of three. He's your curl flat. He's dropping into the hook here. Curl flat, hook. That's what it looks like to me. And he just sits on this. Later on a 3rd and 2, you'll see this run by him and behind him, and he doesn't get eyes on it. And it's pretty much the same coverage, and we'll show that later. But really good. I mean, the opening 2 reps of this game, and the third was, interference call, but those are somewhat subjective, right? I mean, these things that's perfect in terms of coverage. You're getting some push in the pocket right here, making him throw this thing. Everything else is kind of covered up pretty well, and then make a great tackle out there. So great job, good first rep. And then the second rep. So South Carolina had been a mostly zone team coming into this game, and I think they made most of their hay in the zone stuff, but they did get in some gap stuff, and that got you out of sorts a little bit. But they come to this one early, and you just absolutely beat the down block, right? They're pulling. This is an issue, right? Because he's supposed to get back. I think the way they've got this schemed up, he's supposed to block back, but he's got a nose, so he kind of helps there. And now he's pulling the kick, and now you're right in that puller's hip pocket and just kind of blow this thing up right there. These first 2 plays looked like it was going to be a long day for South Carolina. You get the 3rd and 10. Then you decide to bring pressure here, which you can't be mad at, right? Showing it. You're going to be here, 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 there, and then he's going to come and wrap back in the same gap. So you're really trying to get eyes here, there. His eyes are on him, but now he's coming back to this side, and you're going to kind of 2-on-1, right? The back can take one, the back can't take both. You just about get there. Throw gets off. And this is one I don't think, even without the hold, I don't know if this one's going to be caught. But you do get that tug there and get the flag to extend the drive. So tough penalty when you played it pretty decent. 1st and 10 for South Carolina. And now this is where you kind of get the same thing you just did a little bit, where you're on motion across, rotate the safeties, bump the backers a little bit too. And here's South Carolina's plan was to just kind of use the tight end and create extra gaps in the run game. So right here, we got an extra blocker out here outside the edge. The edge is playing off the tackle more than the off the ball tight end here. And so he fits here. He jumps inside, right? So to me, that's saying the backer should be fitting in between there, right? Somebody's wrong, right? If he's fitting in there, I would assume we've got that. So we were gap sound there. But you don't fit the run right away, and then it's too late by the time it gets up on you really fast, right? If you don't go fill right now. So that's just my assumption. It's hard. Defense is always difficult because it's somewhat reactive, right? And it's also, especially in the passing game, this isn't a pass, obviously, but things will sometimes move depending on how the passes play out. So you can't always be super definitive, but here I would guess if this guy's jumping inside here, that's not his job. He's coming uphill, or he's coming downhill, turning this thing back inside. I would imagine they want the backer filling right there right now, but little hesitancy. thing gets on you fast, and now you got a drive going if you're South Carolina. Use the motion, quick, and this thing's covered up pretty well right here. Trying to get, I think they're trying to hope Florida's playing man or something to drop to the quarter or the third and get that thing in the flat really fast, which they did a few times with the back. Florida's in a too high look, looks like a two, more of a cover two look in terms of playing the flat on both sides. But again, the way these things play out, it could be a bunch of different things with the too high variations. But this was kind of an issue all day, is allowing these scrambles, which they're not all big plays. Some of them were, but they just allow you to keep the drive alive and get yourself in short down and distance. So here's a good look at Florida playing kind of a tight interior. He looks head up, probably inside shade. It's hard to tell exactly on this angle, but once I move the tight end over, right, where's my edge? I don't really have an edge here because this tight end should be able to give a hand and climb. That's tough for this guy. So now you got to get some guys in the alley here stepping up. And that was, I think, the plan for South Carolina, is try to get numbers on the edge and kind of don't worry so much about these guys. And you've seen that a little bit in the last few games. Kentucky, if you go back, it wasn't a ton of A gap to A gap, B gap to B gap running. It was a lot more B gap out, more perimeter runs, edge runs. I think people respect Florida's size up the middle. They're kind of working on these edge guys a little bit because not as big on the edge. So I think that's part of it. Get reach there, get reach here. I got to fly over the top, and that creates a crease. Not a big gain, but I just wanted to show that because I think that was kind of the plan for South Carolina. Again, right here, what's the idea? Because he looks like he's outside. He, again, is inside here. I don't think they're asking him to go inside if they don't feel pretty good about somebody fitting this thing in here, right? And when that doesn't happen, that's when you get these big seams, right? So I can't tell you exactly who's wrong, but I'd be shocked if this guy's just jumping inside and just giving up that gap if there's not something, right? You're just giving up this gap between these two guys. I'd be shocked if that's kind of without somebody being kind of filling there, that being their gap, right? So could be a guy freelancing and jumping inside, but I would doubt it. I don't think that would be likely. It seems more likely that guys aren't just fitting it fast enough. And then here, I think you get a pretty good play. You get like similar to what Florida did, where you had the slam flat. He's going to kind of slam for a second and then release delayed, trying to get him on a pop. Florida looks like they play it okay initially. Not great, but you see some recognition. And then as this scramble drill happens, he gets lost for a touchdown there. So South Carolina goes down and matches Florida's score. Florida's next drive, you get a 3rd and 3. You get a nice little concept right here out of the bunch. Right up top, you got double slant, which is always a winner. Good against too high, good against single high. It should be a good play. And then you've got, looks kind of like a 3-man spacing where you get curl flat with a guy curling up over the ball. Pops wide open, good recognition. This is where the Graham Mertz experience is really interesting to me. There are times where, man, he processes it super quick, gets the ball to his hands fast. And there's other times where, especially on the throws where he takes a sack or kind of holds the ball a little too long and has to throw away or intentional grounding. It's like he doesn't process those quite as fast. So that's kind of interesting. 1st and 5 here. I just like that you've got a run called. And, hey, man, if they're not flying out there, throw it. I know this one doesn't pick up a bunch of yards, But get that thing out there, make these guys get out and tackle in space, and as you keep doing that, now this guy will start leaving. And now that's when you can get these big runs in here. You had like a counter look called in here, which I think is not a bad play if you leave it on. But hey, man, don't let him play both. Get him out of there. So that's fine. Take it. Get yourself into a 2nd and 3. Still in 12 personnel. Motion the tight end out. And when you motion, right, the way South Carolina was playing at times, when you motion the tight end out, you're getting him matched up on a nickel or on a safety, right? So, like, these motions are for a reason. Right here, this is one where you had it. I put this on here because you're close. This is a tough, just looking at it right here, the way they're lined up. The center in the offense, the center has the count. He counts. He basically says, "I'm here," and then the other guys count off of him numbers. All right, so the center would have 0. He calls out who 0 is. The guard has 1. The tackle has 2, et cetera, so on and so forth. Right here. So it looks like he's got to get to here. That is tough. That's a tough reach. Now, if it, that's kind of part of the deal. If it's a wide zone, that hey, if I don't reach him, I can just push him down the line and hopefully it cuts back. But man, that's tough because you're here, and I guess they're doubling to that would be my guess. But you see, that's a tough one to reach right there. And that's it's hard to reach that thing all the way back. If you had this one blocked, you've got a great play on here because you block it pretty good on the front side. But man, that's a difficult reach block. I would have felt better this way, personally. That's one you could. That was one maybe, maybe you can kind of flip that thing, go that way. But this is a tough look. That's a tough block for the center right there to get there. Now maybe they had a tendency to slant out of this front, so they thought maybe he'd slant and it'd be easier. But that's a tough look because you can kind of see him give a fake and then go out. That's a tough look for the center right there to block. And if you're able to get that one, I think you have a really good play there. But that's a tough look. So maybe check out of that one or change up your count there. All right, so this one, you got to get the ball in your hands. I thought he was maybe a little quick here. This is a different way. They're getting to mesh a different way here than they normally do. You're getting the shallows over the ball. And then they've also added out of this compress set a corner and a flat. So the safety's right here, corner's right here. You can kind of high-low him on the corner flat. What's cool about this is really, right, he's the flat, he's the corner. This guy's on a shallow, but where will he end up getting? He'll end up getting to where the snag route would be on a snag concept. So for the quarterback, reads are similar. But if you have more time here, let's get rid of that. If you have more time here, that thing might score, right? Because the safety is inside, the corner is jumping up. You have a ton of room for that corner route. Has to throw it on the run. I think still, if you get a catchable ball and you catch it here, you still got a chance to turn up, break a tackle, and get this first down. Just kind of drops it there. And then also, if you don't like the corner and this guy flies out, well, that's where this shallow coming back behind it is coming. And this is mesh. It's a play they've been running, just a little different twist on it, but it's the same base play they've been running for 2 years now. So nothing new. You end up settling for a field goal. South Carolina comes back. This is just, there's not much scheme on this one. The guy made a great play. Sometimes that's going to happen. This is the SEC, right? That's going to happen. I did think this was interesting, though. So, like, you see later, Florida doesn't negotiate a crosser well. So they do a pretty good job here passing this off. He's going to run a deep crosser. The safety actually comes down to take him, and watch Marshall goes and replaces him in the middle of the field there. pretty good job, right? As he runs across there, Marshall leaves him. The safety takes him. There's the safety taking him. There's Marshall taking the middle of the field there. And that's just a great catch. I mean, there's not much you can do there. That's a big body dude. And that's going to happen. If you get enough one-on-one shots, their guys are on scholarship too. They're going to win some of those. So, all right, here, same concept Florida ran last week. This is the one Boardingham dropped early in the game. But you run the back out on a wheel. If the wheel doesn't get matched, you have the tight end coming on a shallow, right? So if the wheel doesn't get matched, you throw it. If the wheel gets matched, right, trying to get him out of there on the wheel. Wheel gets matched. Throw it there. Good play on first down. But Florida ran that last week. Similar thing. And here's you go, a little gap scheme. This is basically long trap. This one's stolen from Kentucky, I think. Into the boundary, that's a tough look. This is something to monitor. 2nd and 7. I thought Kentucky anticipated blitz on a lot of 2nd and longs. So I'd be interested to see if Florida has a blitz tendency on 2nd long. I thought a few of their play calls on 2nd and medium, like 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. I thought a few of those play calls were kind of expecting a blitz or anticipating blitz. So I wonder if Florida's got a blitz tendency there that they picked up on. But you're basically long trap right here. So I can be down, 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 down to here, kick into the boundary. Florida, you'll see if Florida's given up some runs into the boundary. They got a stunt on. So like is this a blitz down for Florida where they're showing these exotic blitzes from the field? All right, so we'll just run to the boundary and the guy goes in untouched, right? So that's something to monitor on these 2nd and mediums going forward. All right, Florida gets the ball back, 1st and 10. So, hey, the people have been calling for it. They've been clamoring for it. I'm not talking about like a deep shot here. So this is basically slot fade and then slant right off of his butt. But this is actually an RPO. Watch the line in the back here. Don't watch the ball. Watch the line in the back. They're running inside zone. Look at the push right here. Also, look at if he wanted it. Why do you run RPO? Look at the fill here with the dig coming right behind it. They're filling right there. He could have easily just banged this thing on that dig right there. But, hey, man, I like the idea here too. Think you got one high safety. Try to throw the slot fade. Nothing wrong with that. Let it rip. Don't connect on it, but you do connect on one later. But I like the idea. Hey, man, let it rip 2nd and or 1st and 10. Take your shot. I thought he was a little bit more aggressive, Mertz, at times. But he played really well, obviously. But a little bit more aggression at times, maybe. Great job moving the pocket. Pretty similar to the one we saw earlier to Boardingham, but just the same concept where I'm vertical. I've got a deeper crosser and then a shallow crosser creating a flood. A lot of these are, man, like the idea behind the offense, I think, is like if you want to get it down to its simplest terms, option 1, run the football, right? Invite safeties into the run game. If that happens, then take shots over the top. We saw that all last year. Then what they hadn't been able to get to yet this year is when people start dropping deep to take the shots over the top, throw the ball to explosive receivers in the intermediate area on catch and run. That's kind of those are the 3 levels that are really successful here in the offense. But they hadn't been able to get to that last one. They kind of did here. Really cool design, showing like 20 personnel or really 12 or 21 personnel rather, showing like two backs, but you're really still in 11. But you got tight end here, receiver here, back, receiver, receiver. Motion him out. A lot of times when you motion that guy out, you're going to throw it to him. And so, right, I don't need a lot of times I'm throwing to this guy, so I'll just bring one to the party because then I got one for the guy that you're throwing the ball to. Well, Ford does a good job here making him a lead blocker and then be down, down, block, throw it out there. And then, yeah, just let that dude, as many touches you can get him, manufacture him any way you can. That's a winning strategy. So really cool. I like the kind of creativity. And that's another thing kind of with people being down on the offense a little bit. I think this dude, and we talked about it a little bit last week, this guy I think is pretty important just in terms of his playmaking ability as being different than everybody else on the team. I think he's pretty important to what you want to do. So I think you're going to see more and more creativity and the offense magically get better the more he plays because he's one of your best players, right? So right here, let's just lose a pass rush rep. But what's funny here is you'll see, let's not be results driven here, right? You get that fade, that flood look, and you've got, if you have the time here, you get this intermediate crosser, right? They're not playing it well. And what's the other interesting part is you start to see, I think you've seen a few times the backs come up and then out after you get the crosser here. So you almost get like a little bit of a mesh type look with the way the back's route is after the crosser there. All right, well, it was open, but you didn't hit it. So what do you do? I don't know. Well, what if you just come right back to it? And this is a little bit different version, but it's kind of similar, right? You're going to get the deep crosser, the go. I think this is more of a Y or a Y cross version because you're going to have this deep crosser. Then I think you have a dig behind it, which is more of a Y cross, which is an air raid play. You see it all over the place. You've probably seen the Kansas City Chiefs running it a ton. But there it is, the intermediate crosser. Thank you very much. And then if you don't like that, there's the dig coming back behind it, right? So there you go. Y cross, tail as old as time. Good throw and catch. Pick up. Nice first down on 3rd and all. 1st and 10 here. This one ends up being incomplete, but I put this on here because I would love to see the would like to see the all 22 of this one. So you're here, he's running your post. You're getting the shallow sting again, which is like the league where he's coming like he's running the shallow across, and then he's going to wheel up the sideline. The back makes his fake and then kind of follows that too. Didn't get the protection here. And it's really hard to tell if Pearsall, he's back behind the 2nd level. I don't know where the 3rd level defenders are, so it's hard to tell if they had that covered up. Try to drop it to Montreal. It's kind of in traffic, so no catch there. Another fun concept here off the motion. Trying to get your playmaker one-on-one. Good inside release here and just running through. He's going to motion across, and then he's going to run a wheel route. Then everybody else is running kind of normal boot rules. You have the deep crosser, right? You have the shallow by the tight end coming across. So running through the middle of the field, there's your deep crosser. There's your wheel route. I like it. Take a shot to the wheel route. That's all right. Again, you're trying to get your best player some plays. You got him one-on-one right there. Didn't make the play, but you're giving him chances, right? Holding penalty, and then you get the 3rd and 20. Put this on just, I like this. I like the concept. This is a good And you've seen some, the old coaching Twitter enjoys this one as well. You got a backside slant, but you got some spacing. A spacing concept here. Four-man spacing is difficult to deal with. Pearsall pops right open, right? If this guy gets underneath that, you've got that one. You kind of got 1, 2, 3 out here, and then that to control the flat. Good pickup on 3rd and 20, get you back into field goal range. There's not a lot of plays for 3rd and 20. Settle for another field goal, but you get one. Points were important. All right, so we talked about Florida's were the edge. All right, this is a tough look. It's hard to tell maybe is outside shade, but get reach there. I don't really have an edge, right? I got to come fill. So right here, nobody's really come to fill yet, right, from the second level. You got this turning it back in. He's coming. But you're trying to run laterally. Don't quite get enough. He picks up 8 pretty easy on this jet sweep. They run it again later at the end of the game, trying to run out the clock, and Florida plays it just about perfect. So that's a good adjustment, and you'll see that later. 2nd and 9. I put this one on here. This is a great individual play. This is Shamar James, I believe. Watch this. This is a good call. Right here should be bang, and then I can go, and then I got a pretty good lane here. I'm thinking first down conversion. Watch this. Let's see this. Take on the block. Get off the block. Get your hand in there and get enough to get this guy down on 2nd and 9. And then, right, make it 3rd and 6. Well, then they snap the ball through his legs, and you get off the field. So great play. That play on 2nd down gets you off the field on 3rd down, basically, right? So back to Florida's offense, down 14-13. And looking to score again. So start with some jet motion. So here's what we talked about, right? The jet motion. A lot of times, Florida's had the tendency to run jet and then run the ball away from it, right? Just try to displace people and run back the other way. This is what time where they run the motion and they actually run to it. And I like running behind this motion because it can widen people out, especially in his own scheme, and you can really create some seams. So this guy flies out for the motion. He's moving outside as well. Look at this double working up. And that creates a huge seam for the run game right there. So I really like that wrinkle. And that's something we hadn't seen a ton of. And in fact, I think you'd seen a lot of the opposite. And so let's watch how this plays out in full speed here. See some movement. Catch him in a slant too. That helps, right? But that opens up a big running lane right there. All right, so you catch him in the slant, but this is probably also another tendency you might have where they like to bring the corner off the edge, then slant. Well, that's going to hold these two out. That motion is going to hold these guys on the outside there a little bit and not allow them to get in position for that. 1st and 10, moving the ball again. And here's a big shot play. And it must be one of the new plays, right? No, this is something they ran last year. I'm pretty sure they ran it against Tennessee last year, would be one game. They do so much, deep posts and verticals and crossers and stuff like that. So he's going to come probably like he's running a deep cross or a post and then break it back to the corner. You've got the intermediate breaker. If you go back and watch, you remember all the big shots down the field that they hit against Tennessee? This was a concept for a lot of them. You got this thing trailing and him to the flat there, which I like that change up too of getting somebody fast to the flat So if you want to drop it off to Wilson, that's always a great play in my opinion. So, but that's the idea. So it's the same kind of flood look. You're just, instead of running a straight vertical, you're going to turn that into almost like I'm running a crosser and then break back out to the corner. The safeties have seen so many crossers already, that's going to hold them. And it's not new. Go back and watch Tennessee. Shorter gets one on that. Pearsall ends up drifting underneath another one and catches a ball. But that's a play they've had in. All right, so this one, I just thought put this one in because I think they want them doubling up to there. You just never get off this block right here. Don't get off the double. I'm not sure. You kind of get turned into it. If you can give a hand and that guy can overtake, then I can climb to here. And you're pretty much like that first one where you've got the back one-on-one with him in the hole. And I think if you're Florida, you like your backs in those situations. Right here, I just didn't get off this block. Allows him to get downhill and fit, and he makes the play, right? But right here, and you maybe give this guy some credit for playing this tough, but if I can get that reach and just give him a hand and then climb, I've got a really good play here. But South Carolina guys make a good play there, make it difficult, gets you to 2nd and goal. And again, maybe a new pass concept. No, this is the one. What's funny is they ran this last week against Vanderbilt. This is also what scored. Now they went under center for it, but it's the same concept that Ricky Pearsall scored last year against South Carolina on. And Hayden Hansen pops wide open, by the way. But jet motion, get him to fly out with the motion, right? Now I've got room to run behind him for that crosser there. Got room there. They are all out of sorts. You've got, right, I've got him outflanked already. I thought he's going to come back here to Hansen because, I mean, watch this thing. Good Lord. That thing pops wide open, but makes it tough for a throw. And then this dude's got some hands. Super strong hands. That's a tough catch to make. Really strong hands, man. The previous catch he made was great as well, but that dude's got some strong hands. And then you never hate seeing a little trash talk after you catch one on somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. So then you get to the 2-point play. Loved this call right here. So how did Hayden Hansen get so open? Well, they got to it quick. So let's look at the huddle. What do we have here? Kind of a sugar huddle, right? There's the left tackle hiding a little bit, as much as a man this big can hide. There's the tight end. We're going to get up, line up, and then I'm going to bend down and not show my numbers to the defense. So let's bend down, not show my numbers. It's a big white guy. That's a big white guy, right? It's the defense thinking, all right, it's just that big white left tackle, right? That's your tight end. That's your left guard. That's your center. So here's your left tackle. They've gone tackle over, but to the defense, the structure is, right, that's the left tackle. They've got a tight end on that side, right? So once I motion, if they're playing man and he runs with it, well, you're typically not throwing the ball to the left tackle very much, right? So Hayden Hansen just gets totally lost. Let's watch it full speed and then we'll come back. He gets totally lost because they went tackle over. He is, in theory, the left tackle, but he is the end man on the line of scrimmage here, so he is eligible. And the huddle and how they got out of it and the quickness all kind of contributed to that. So nice design there. 21-14, they want to take a shot. So we talked about them playing that crosser really well earlier. This one you just get beat on. Playing a little bit different defense there, but this is stuff Florida loves to run where you got the deep post and then the crosser coming back. If you can protect it long enough, you can hit these kind of shots. they're able to. Florida kind of comes back later. They try to hit him with that again. Florida plays it much better later on. But still, after that, you get to a 3rd and 6. You can get off the field here. And these are the ones that are killers, right? You've got this thing pretty much bottled up. Come back around there. Did a good job in coverage. I mean, you've got guys for all the underneath stuff. It looks like you got safety coming over here. Then you got him getting over the top there. Guys are moving around. You're causing problems. It's hard to tell if it's could be he's rotating. I believe what's happening. He's rotating deep half. You have the corner over there dropping. He's off screen to deep half. He's dropping, moving over to the flat. So this may be that kind of Tampa 2 robber look they like to run a good bit. And right here, looks like the play's dead. Great job. You get off the field. He's able to get out of it, complete that pass there. And those are the ones that are tough because you feel like you're in pretty good position. But first down after that play. Good job by the corner here. Put this on because there was a lot of times that Kentucky game where you had chances to do similar things. And again, you see him jump inside. That's because he's off the edge, right? So those earlier ones, I'd imagine he's being told to jump inside, so somebody should be fitting in that extra gap. Now, maybe they weren't accounting for having the tight end over there when they called that. Maybe they thought that Hill off the edge, Princely jumping inside, you wouldn't have the tight end over there, so there's not that extra gap. But when the tight end moves over, somebody's got to come fill. But right here, corner, great job. Get to a 2nd and 10 here. And this is one, it's just hard to tell exactly what happens here. Looks like they're dropping to. It's hard to tell, right? Because he looks like he's coming downhill. He looks like he's dropping more towards the center. He's getting some depth. He's playing up here and running with it. If it's kind of a similar look to, I think, the one they got caught with last week, where in terms of, if it's supposed to be some type of man match, is he man everywhere he goes? Right. Well, then this guy's probably got to come out with this, right? If he's allowed to pass this thing off inside, right, as he goes inside, can he pass it off there and come off? I'm not sure exactly what the call was because it's hard to tell, right? Because it depends a little bit. But, those could be two of the options right there where if he's man everywhere he goes, I've got to be cognizant of that. Now, this here holds his eyes, right? It puts you in a bind right there. So this is where I was asking, was there a second and 10, 2nd and long blitz tendency, right? Because blitzing him right now, this guy's got to make a tough decision because he's got one coming right at him and he's got one coming to the flat of the other side. So I'm not sure exactly. You got caught in a bad call there and a good call there by South Carolina, and great play by the South Carolina running back there. So get the ball back, 3rd and 10. I thought this might be one of the throws of the year for me. This is one of my favorites. Navigate the pocket, step up in traffic, and throw a strike to the dig route. Love it. Up here, you've got kind of a play on, right? They love to run snag, corner, flat. To me, this is a play on that. Come in like you're running the snag, pivot out, corner. And then you got the dig back here. So if I like it against man, both these are good against man. I do like the way he steps up in the pocket here and delivers a strike to the dig. That's really good stuff. 2nd and 5 later in the same drive here. Go screen off this. thought they played this well, but I did like the design and call of the screen. You kind of get what you want. This guy rushes hard. You're going to get these guys, you're getting bodies out to it. They just do a good job of playing it. You only pick up 2 there, end up in a 3rd and 2. Now, here's the play. You end up faking the jet sweep. I kind of wish you called it. You got a great look for it right here. Bang, bang, lead blocker. This is a really good look for the jet sweep. Not a terrible look for the zone you want to run here. But this dude is a pretty good player, and he just wins right off the line of scrimmage. Kind of blows that thing up. And then your tackles pass setting. So I'm not sure. Some wires got crossed here. But this would have been one that would have been nice if you could have checked it to that jet sweep, because I feel pretty good you would have got that first down. But you got to punt. Get the ball back. Want to take a shot. Great job defensively here, right? 1st and 10. Moving guys around. Watch how they play the crosser here. Right? This is trying to kind of set up for the same shot play a little bit, but see how they got the crosser played right there. Doing a good job getting underneath this. Eyes for this crosser back here. So as he steps down, has no real number 2 receiver threat to his side, he can get eyes back this way. Takes away the crosser, and you see they're doing a good job running underneath that there. You got a safety high, taking the post away. And then you did a good enough job with your pass rush to pester. Get to 3rd and 7 there after a 3-yard gain. Brings some pressure and gets home. Really good one-on-one rep. Nice design. You like the design of it, but because I think the design helps you get the one-on-one, right? But it is really about winning one-on-one. Takes the back up here. The back can't help here, right? If the back wanted to chip. And then great win. Princely off the edge there for the sack. Get off the field, get your offense the ball back. All right, here we go. So you motion the tight end now. What does that do? Does a couple things. Gets him on the safety now. So you got your receiver on the safety and a corner guarding your tight end. You're going to do the tried and true snag concept, the Y corner for you air raid enthusiasts. And then slant, slot fade. They run slot fade. Slot fade was the big throw to Marcus Burke and Utah. They've been running slot fade for 2 years. Nothing new. I think the slant is a good, instead of running the hitch out there, which oftentimes you'll see hitch, slot fade instead of hitch corner. It replaces smash. It's a similar concept. But if you think you're going to be facing man-heavy team, don't run a hitch. It's smart to convert that into a slant, which I think was the plan this week. So, right, Mertz looks right and makes sure kind of the safety isn't going to be over there. You got one high safety. He knows, right? He checks to this, so he likes it. You can see him give the hand signal there. He likes that. Mertz knows he's working there. Holds it right. Comes back left. Great ball and then great adjustment here by Pearsall to make that catch. Another drive down the field here, getting a good field position. You're hoping you can cash it in for a touchdown. 1st and 10. This is one where it's tough. I think you might want to be, if you can. Now, they did a pretty good job. They jumped inside leverage here, but kind of through there if you can with this. Because the idea is that you're going to be, hopefully, occupy. Lord, that first arrow is a little rough, huh? The idea is here, try to occupy the safety with the post, flat for anybody to the flat, and then you're actually going to sneak the back out, and you're running like scissors where he's got the corner out with the back. LSU, if you remember their game at Alabama in Tuscaloosa, hits Clyde Edward-Helaire out of the backfield on this. Joe Burrow does for a touchdown, I think, late in the second quarter. That's the first time I remember seeing it. They tried to run this against Georgia last year. I think this gets pushed out too wide. You'd probably rather have him take it across that guy's face if you could, but he does a good job playing inside position. And then that's the idea, right? So if you can kind of take his eyes, take the safety's eyes, now I can run really vertical here, right? I don't flatten it as much. I can take it more here. If that safety's kind of out of it, there's the throw. But that's the idea. Kind of slip a little bit here, working up, get a hand on the foot, throw it away. End up in a 3rd and 15. Good call on the screen. You've got, again, 2 screens here. There. He's coming for the corner, so you got the flare screen there. He does a good job playing it. But then up here, you've got the screen to this dude. I like that anytime you can call it, right? Anytime you get the ball in his hands, that's good. Hits the ground running. He thinks he's coming all the way across. I don't know. With a guy like him, you're not going to nitpick and say, hey, I don't, as soon as you hit this thing, get vertical in that alley. You could nitpick, but he can do some crazy stuff with the ball in his hands. So you may just let him be him, right? End up having to settle for a field goal, but a big field goal, a big time drive with getting the ball back under 2 minutes, going down and getting points. That was very important. Second half, you start trying to take shots. You cover it pretty well here. You guys trigger late, force the throw away. Get to a 3rd and 8. It's all about getting off the field on 3rd downs. This is blitz and straight man coverage. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. Good route. Well, that's all it is. You're bringing pressure. It's man coverage. You win some, you lose some. Good route and good throw. The quarterback played really well for South Carolina, I thought. I think he's improved quite a bit too. But he now has a losing record against Florida, which I think all Florida fans are pretty excited about. Here's one where my only thing here is it certainly seems like it's one-on-one. The safety shade to this side, he's downhill. I would think you might want to play inside leverage here. Harder throws are outside. Throw it outside is a harder throw. When I don't, and that's, I guess, my question. He certainly seems to be looking here. I'm not sure if they're bracketing something, but he's playing this like he has safety help. And it could have very well have been, hey, I want to bracket here. And the bracket got mixed because he's playing like he has safety help down here. And he doesn't. There's no help in the middle of the field. So he kind of funnels it to nobody by playing outside technique. So I wonder, maybe the safety's supposed to spin back and help bracket here. I would probably bracket 17. He's a pretty good player, but if that's the Harvard dude, he's a animal too. So it kind of pick your poison there. But he certainly seems to be playing with outside and kind of pushing it towards the safety that's not there. So miscommunication there maybe, but don't give up on the play, make a tackle, get to 3rd and goal here. And then great push up the middle here. This is a great individual rep right here. And were these 4 points important? Yeah, those 4 points are pretty important. Great individual effort, then getting them on the ground, making them settle for a field goal. So gave up the big play, but you got the stop in the red zone for the field goal. So another cool design here. We're going some old school football. This is what everyone thinks Billy Napier is running. If you only watch Twitter and didn't watch Florida games, this is what you'd think they're in every play. Tight end, 2 backs, old school, broken eye. I mean, this is what Florida football Twitter says Florida's in. But you just got a little toss sweep here, just like a just reaching and running and letting that dude find a seam. And he's a bad dude. More ball in his hands as much as possible. Get you to a second one. Jet, fake. This is great to me. This is you're trying to kind of do the same thing here. It's hard to tell what he ends up doing, but it looks like you got deep crosser. He may be breaking that thing back to the corner. He may just be vertical. I would guess with the inside stem like this, he's breaking back to the corner, and then he carries it off to the flat. So you're still getting those flood looks that you do in a lot of your passing game. Then bang, drop it to him. That's always a great play. That guy in space is always a winning play. Great idea. And if he would have just done the same thing here, he may have scored. You kind of get exactly what you want here. It happens a little fast. So, right, we're here, there. The post eats him up and him up. The quarterback, after he hands it, Wilson, is there. If you just throw it to him blindly, he probably scores a touchdown. And I know there's probably some people saying, oh, there's no feel in the play calling here. But like, bang, right here, if I just catch it and throw it, now maybe he's not looking, right? So he's not, maybe he thinks he's not ready. But man, if I can just throw it to him right now, just put it right here, there's nobody left, right? Because there's the corner running with Pearsall. Safety's in the middle of the field. Bang, drop it to him. What you can't do is that. You got to throw it. If you're going to throw it in the stands, throw it 15 yards, hit this event staff guy in the back. Just don't do that. So you end up getting a negative play. The penalty gets you in a 3rd and 21. Again, you're not going to convert many of these, but you're in a 3rd and 21. Why is this important? Right now, you're out of field goal range. So, you may have some people screaming, why aren't you trying to, you're not trying to get a first down. You're not throwing to the sticks. Hey, man, this right here, that gets you to the yardage for a 54-yard field goal, which is long, and your guy makes it. Again, those points are important. Third and 11, bring some pressure. And you got everything locked up pretty well here. Looks like you're bringing the corner and rolling to Tampa. Bring the corner, flat, deep half. Looks like he's dropping in the middle. He's the rail, flat. He may be playing a robber. He may be 2 robber again where he can fly down here. But you bring the corner off the edge. You bring pressure from depth. And you present a weird look to the offense. Everything's covered up really well. Force him out of the pocket. Make a play. Get off the field. Great job. Offense gets the ball back. 1st and 10 here. Beamer says they had the perfect call for this. Bringing edge pressure. Well, Florida's got a blocker. And if they get blocked they've got the perfect call for your perfect call. So, not too bad. Good job here by Wilson, obviously. But watch this. I go down and then watch him get back in the play here for a guy that's somewhat maligned. Gets back in the play. And then great, just individual effort there by Wilson. But reverse, again, just get the ball in that dude's hands. Good things are going to happen more often than not. To the same side as the jet, right? You have the jet motion. Running it to the same side. This thing bounces. And again, I think that's a tendency breaker, right? You've been a lot of jet motion run away from it. The jet motion run to it. Tendency breaker again. 3rd and 14. So this is one I think he forces here. You're just getting the curl over the ball. You're getting Hank, which is a West Coast staple. You see this all the time in the NFL from a bunch of different teams. But it's just curl flat, basically. I thought he kind of forced the curl to Bordenham here. Right. You could say, hey, if this curl's not there, you should throw it here. But if you think that was not there, this will come back later, I promise. Look where he is. Hey, man, it's 3rd and 14. Drop it there. Let this guy – if this guy wins one-on-one, you're going to convert. It feels counterintuitive to throw behind the sticks, but, like, if that's what the read gets you to, drop it down. Now, he almost gets forced to later in the game on a 4th and 11, but kind of saw what happened there. So good play here by South Carolina. Releasing here, this guy's trying to fight over the top. It's a rub. We saw Florida run one last week against Vandy. It's tough to get over the top. Not a bad job. And really, you played this pretty well. Close on the ball, but this is a big dude right here. Is able to kind of fight through the contact and get enough for a first down. But good concept there by South Carolina. It's another one where you're there. Think it looks like you've got it covered up pretty well. And he's able to take off and pick up a big gain there. So those are the ones that are killers, right? You feel like you're in pretty good position. They break off, pick up the big gain. Later in the drive, they get into 3rd and 11. And this is just tough. This is a good concept right here. He's going to come over the ball. He comes to match him. He breaks out of there, just wins. So you've got everything else pretty well handled. Looks like he may be rotating deep half. He's rotating deep half, getting the flat, kind of playing here. And then you just kind of win right there. So good route by him. Try for the punch out there. They get down to the goal line. Last play of the quarter. Motion. Get your man. I think this is one where, if the first thing out is yours, bang, just trigger on it. You kind of get caught in no man's land thinking maybe quarterback, maybe. But you've got them for the quarterback. I think you just trigger. Because it certainly seemed like him inside, he takes that. The back's the first thing out, take that. So good play design. 14:55 left in the 4th. You're down by 4. 1st and 10. Take a shot. Why not? You got a run play call, so you look inside here. This is you've got a run called in here, and hey, you like the 1-on-1, take the vertical shot. There's nothing wrong with that. Boom, take the shot. Not there. You get a penalty. Great. In jet motion. Running to the jet. Again, it bounces. Good blocks, and now you got something going. 1st and 10. Good cut here. Right, you see this got some good push on the backside there. Push, cut back, good vision. Moving the ball again. Pretty good. 1st and 10 again. And then you just to me it looks like you're wind back again. I think you're here, and then he's coming to there. And you got to play, I think, out here. He's coming down in this gap. He kind of misses this guy. It's just like he misses him. He just beats him to the gap. I'm not sure. I don't know if he goes backside on him, but it looks like if he picks him up, right, so you're there, he's there. He's got enough where I don't think this guy, when he unengages there, is going to get there. I can bounce this thing out there and have him as a lead blocker. This thing might go, but just miss that block inside. The guy's able to jump in there, knife through, and make the play. So now you get back to a 3rd and 5 here. This is one where I think, this isn't great in this look. it looks like Mertz checks this, checks the protection, right, and keeps the tight end in. I may be wrong here, but this isn't ideal. No, you'd like the protection to be a little bit better if you're going to keep all those guys in. But this is not kind of ideal. You don't want these 3 guys when you're looking at that kind of zone, right? That doesn't really help you. So I think if you're gonna change the protection, keep those in, maybe switch up the concept here. But obviously, you'd like the protection. If you're gonna keep all those guys in, protection, you'd like it to be better. So settle for field goal, it gets blocked. And here's when we talked about the first play of the game, right? Where they kind of ran some guy on here, and he hugged him up pretty good, right? Now that may have been out of a 2x2. Or rather, they ran this guy here. He hugged him up pretty good. It may have been out of a 2x2 earlier in the game, but that's kind of the idea. Gets lost back there behind it for a big play. Because I think you're kind of dropping to 3 here, I believe. But it finds the seam right there. 2nd and 5. Get caught in the blitz here. And then trying to negotiate. This is a good call right here. Make it look like you're running counter, and then he's going to slip to the flat. You get him pinned, and then you get a chance to come up and make a tackle. The guy's able to work through it. Falls off there for the touchdown. So now you're down 10. You get the ball back. 9 minutes, 11 seconds left. Take a shot. Why not? Now, the safety's back deep there. He's got a wide hook. He's going to kind of break out and then back in. Shot. You probably could have dropped it to the dig, but you'll see next play he does that. There's a lot of room for that dig there, but take a shot to the post. Why not? So 2nd down. 2nd and 10 here. They'd been running a ton of corners, right? So one of their change-ups, and this is something I think they got from Kiffin, is like make it look like a corner and then curl up. Then here it's going to be pivot dig. That's something. This pivot dig is something Urban Meyer used to love. Dan Mullen used to love that pivot dig. Opens that thing up. Good play on 2nd down. Now the offense is moving a little bit. Here, 1st and 10. Going smash, I believe, from condensed look. Corner. Speed out, corner, speed out. That's my guess. It's hard to see it. They'll sometimes run this where one of those guys will break to the post. So they'll run speed out, outside, and then one guy will run a corner, the other guy will run a post. But easy read, corner bails, throw the speed out. Right here, you get hitch seam. This is another one. If you get a little bit better throw here, your receiver wins. So just hitch seam, really Haas juke. So if you like this, so hitch, seam, down here you got a hitch, and then juke route. He's going to stop, act like he's stopping, and then continue. Ran this against Utah, ran this last year against Kentucky. They've been running this for a while. This is something that Tom Brady and the Patriots used to kill people with. Just missed it there. So get the 2nd and 10. Just throw the hitch, take it, keep picking up yards there. 3rd and 11. Third and 11 here. You're going to come back to that spacing look out of the 4 receiver set. Vertical. You may be cooking up wide out there. Over the ball here. Flat. You get this one popping wide open. He works the slant backside. Good job closing on this by the corner. Makes a play on it. You're in 4th and 11. Tough spot to be in. So here's my guess on this one. I think you've seen some people. My guess is that, and that we're looking to open this behind it. And this is just kind of window dressing. But so almost like a drive route would be my guess. So you're looking to use that, and then the back coming out here to kind of open that up just like you would on mesh and hit the dig behind it. The pressure caused you to pull it down, throw to the flat. But like we showed before, on that 3rd and 14, they were dropping and giving a ton of room, right? So throw it down here, and then, hey, you got to make a play one-on-one. How many plays did South Carolina make one-on-one down the field? They made them. If they make more than you, they win. Right here, you make a play one-on-one. Great block there. Awesome effort to pick up the first down. Huge, huge play. And then here, this is a fun little here. And then he's in the flat. He's going to break this intermediate, but he kind of runs in Wilson's wake right here and then breaks it off, and that really gets him open. Watch right here how he throttles down, runs in Wilson's wake, lets him clear, and look at all the space I got now. So really controlled route running there from Pearsall. And then you've got snag. Outside guy's got the snag route. You got the flare. And then you're just running hitch seam here, trying to see if you can get the slot on the slot fade there. Take a shot. Definitely had a holding. Doesn't get called. No big deal. You go to 2nd and 10. Double slants. This has been a nice development by boarding him, kind of catching the ball in traffic. He had some trouble with that early. He's definitely adjusted to the speed of the game and the physicality of the game. Then you get a 3rd and 1 here, and I think Pearsall bust. I think you're trying to run a corner, and if you're trying to run smash, speed out. I think he drifts too much here. He drifts into this window, covering them both up. I'm not sure what's happening here. He's kind of stuck and gets held. I'm not sure if he's trying to get the corner or what, but he gets held. I think if you break this thing a little bit earlier, that's the separation you need for that. He drifts a little bit and kills both routes. So it looks like the guys are in the same space, but I think you have a bust. But 4th and 1. All right, so let's go back to the 3rd and 1 earlier in the game. We talked about the quarterback sneak, right? Watch this. So Florida did it previously by going tackle over. They go tackle over here as well, but they did it as a shift against Charlotte, I believe. That Charlotte was able to adjust. Right here, look to the sideline, get under really fast, and you see these guys are like, oh, crap, it's sneak. I need to get up and get in here. But by the time they're ready for it, the ball's already been snapped. They try to jump on the pile, right? So this time they're going to be proactive. I'm getting in here. Everybody and their mother's getting in here. Right? They see, and Florida does a good job of waiting long enough, let them get in there. And now I've got this outflanked. I got blockers out here for everybody. Thank you for getting yourself in there. Then bang, flip it out there. Make a tackle. I like our guys one-on-one, right? That's the idea. So take it. Then right here, 2nd and goal. These guys have been flying inside. All right, watch this guy try to climb over the top with the motion here. Trying to climb over the top. Thank you. I'll slip him out. Great catch there. Touchdown. Now you're down 1 score. You need to stop. 1st and 10. This is after the penalty. So you get a penalty. You need to stop. You get a penalty, unforced error here. But watch this. This is a great job by Sapp. Watch him run down the line here. Beats the tight end across face. Runs down the line. Kills this zone play. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here. Especially with the game on the line. Bang. Went across face. fly down the line. And notice, why can he do that? Because he's got another outside. So if the quarterback did pull the boot, you got one for him, right? So great job, great effort. Get you into a 2nd and 12. South Carolina comes back with that jet, right? The first time they ran the jet, here, nobody came to fit. Watch this. Jaden Hill does a great job. And then you watch the pursuit from inside out here, right? They cut this one back previously. He looks to cut this thing back. Your backer's screaming in there. You ain't cutting that back. And Jaden Hill does a great job stringing it out, making the tackle, getting you to 3rd and long. And then I like this. Hey, man, be aggressive. 3rd and long, we're going to bring guys. You brought him. Almost get there. Make him get the ball out of his hands quick. Come up, make the tackle. You're off the field. Offense back on the field. 1st and 10. It looks like he was thinking slot fade. Mertz was thinking maybe smash, like corner here. He looked like he threw the corner. Jackson ran the slot fade. Miscommunication. All right, 2nd and 10. Looking to work the dig. I thought he could have thrown this one, right? Make him think it's a corner curl. I thought he could have thrown this one after he rolled here. Right here, I thought he could have thrown that right there to him. Backside, you get that dig open. He didn't like it. Keeps it going. Give the receiver a chance. Throw it out of bounds. That's 3rd and 10. They're bringing people. Gets the ball to his hands fast. I think he likes boarding him with the big body. Now, this guy gets there early, but they ain't calling that. I'm letting him work this side here. He seems to like to work the boundary, Mertz, but I don't know if that's a coaching thing, but I ought to work this side personally, but you're good either way. Puts it on this guy. This may be a little early. I don't know. I'm not a referee. Pretty good ball with the guy kind of pinning his hands to his body. So he's unable to make the catch. And now you're in 4th and 10. So you change it up a little bit here. You got this action on the backside to get the dig if you can. But I think you're going to be here. So changing up the front side concept there. As he matches, I get vertical. Great job by Mertz avoiding the rush, giving your guy a chance. An awesome catch there by Pearsall. Obviously, a huge play by both those guys. 2nd and 10. I love the run call here. Like, it's you got the ball just past the 50. There's 2 minutes left in the game. There's plenty of time to run. Run the football. Great call. And then great run here by Montrell Johnson. Another 1st down, and now you're moving the ball down the field. This is one, like, listen, this is the same bad bounce. Like, let's all, everyone it's what a unlucky bounce. This is the same bounce that bounced right to Utah to basically kill that game in the first game of the season. Not a dissimilar bounce to the one that bounced off your tight end's hands right over the ball against Kentucky that bounced right to them. This team deserves a good bounce, and they finally get one here. And up top, snag, slant, backside. Nothing new. A little bit of luck on your side, but, man, you deserve it after some of the other stuff that's happened this year. Try to run again on 1st down. Didn't work. And then, right, I've been running a ton of corners. So now I take him to the corner, break him off to the post here. Give him a little head nod right there to the corner. Beat him across face of the post. Great ball. Great catch. An awesome job there to take the lead. Now the defense has to finish it. Right here, I kind of think you're playing pretty good coverage right here. Go. Trigger on that, man. Go. Get downhill. Don't give him that time. It was just a little late, I think, to trigger. Trigger early. Right there. Go get him. in 1st and 10. Look at the push you're getting up front. I mean, you don't think these dudes wanted it. Just look at what you're getting right there. Those dudes are like a pack of animals. This is like a zombie horde trying to get to their target here. They're not going to be denied. Throws it up, intercepts it, and then we get to the real. So I thought this part was interesting. So I was surprised that it certainly seemed like Napier thought that they weren't going to call timeouts. This was the one thing in the game where I was surprised that he thought that. The only thing I really question, right? You can see it in Mertz. So he takes a knee. They think they're going to call the game. You can see Napier starting to jog out. Right, I think he's here. Watch Mertz, though. You can see they probably thought this thing was over. They weren't going to call the timeouts. Watch Mertz. Oh, seriously? Then Napier's starting to come out. They tell him, no, he's calling a timeout. And Napier's like, oh, come on, dude. Like, he gives him the wave right there. But, hey, I think if Napier was in the other side, he'd be calling timeouts too, right? So I'm surprised they didn't anticipate that. But this is the right play after that. Take as much time as you can. Yardage doesn't matter. It's all about time. Same thing on 3rd down. Yardage doesn't matter. All about time. Then on 4th down, right, points don't matter. It's all about time. Run through the end zone. So I read something basically punting from inside your 5. The chances of the other team getting the ball back in their own red zone after that play are 3 times higher from a punt than if you just take a safety and do a free kick, right? So by the numbers, this is a smart play. Kind of wish you would have taken a little bit more time here, but you don't want anything fluky to happen. Get it to 3 seconds, and then you just got to go finish the play against the special teams guru. The special teams touchdown would be great for the narrative. Punt bounces around. You got it covered, and then you got somebody back for the throw. Another true freshman there. So awesome stuff. Great win. And I thought the tone was set pretty early there. They played really hard the whole game. They came out with a lot of fire. You saw in that opening kickoff, Napier running out there. They were ready to go from the first snap, had a really good plan, and executed it really well. Next, we have a bye. So maybe we'll do a little review of the first half of the season, maybe get a guest on. Not quite sure yet, but we'll make sure it's something worth watching. Thank you for checking out this extra long edition here of Watching Film on Varnadore Films. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Help me game the YouTube algorithm. We'll be back next week with even more Florida football film.